Well, the stories of ancient times and right up to the foundation of all religions are not actually religions. They are teachings in story form. They are all Gnostic in the simple sense of you have to know what it's really talking about. It's giving some tangible picture of something you need to learn in a spiritual sense. And what you make of it, of course, depends on who you are. So if I listen to Jason Reza Giorgiani, he makes of it that, well, the fault of Gnosticism was pacifism, because it left you with a confusion of mind in which you'll just accept the leading of whatever solution trivially presents itself to you. So you can be easily led in such a devastation. My view of the stories is not that. It's that they're playing out on a world stage of gods and battles and, you know, the great epic stories, to tell you something spiritual. Not that's physically going to happen in the world and you must fight against it, but that every man fights in every age and time. And I don't mean fight. I mean, it's what he's pitched against or purpose to solve and master. And it's called spiritual maturity. So, you know, the opening chapters of the Bhagavad Gita are a symbolic battle. That there are things in your character that have to go. They're a source of discord and great harm to you. And in a sense you must slay them. They must be cast out. That you may become the wonderful being that I would like to trust God purposes. And if you're God before you, and he must be because he's personification of your values, you wouldn't be alive if you didn't value life and so on, then who can stand against you? And the implied answer is nothing, no one. You are destined for heaven, for life eternal, for a wonderfulness that, yeah, sure, we don't have any good conception of. The kids can't imagine what adult life is really like. They just know when they grow up they're going to buy a great big box of chocolates and eat the lot. Yeah, okay, love, well, see how you get on. You might do. And of course some do and suffer greatly, poor souls, but you know what I mean. Okay. So, do I take the story of Prometheus to mean that I've got to fight? No, I take the Jesus view. My servants are not of this world. My kingdom's not of this world. They don't fight. I'm not here to destroy you and your setup. It's doing very well. God has a mix of good and evil here, that we may learn amazing lessons, that we may mature. And we do. Hence your reply, what is truth? It's almost a despair, isn't it, that it doesn't add up here. It just doesn't add up. Whatever it is I value, it can't be that. Why? What do you value? Well, I'm not sure. I can imagine a friendly, if there is such a thing as a friendly pilot discussing, look, the whole thing's a story. It's a very good story. It's a great encouragement. It's been a blessing to many. I'm sure it's been misused. I mean, you expect the world to do that. It's a good and evil mix in the world. So no, I don't see that it's a dilemma. The Gnostic pacifism. I think it says something very deep. Look, there is a struggle, but the struggle is within you, just like the Gita presents it as such. When you get into the later chapters, you realize he's not talking about a battle at all. And who is this prince, Arjuna? It's you. Who is the charioteer? Well, Christian terms, it's the Holy Spirit. Teaching, guiding. The one that drives your chariot. Oh, do you mean he's the schoolmaster? Well, I wouldn't use the word master because that gives all the wrong impression. I'd say it's like my Rudolf Steiner school. It's the wonderful lady who's looking after the kids. God, she's a godsend. And she got a couple of kids of her own. Yeah, there you go. Bless her. All right. Sorry, I don't mean Rudolf Steiner schools are perfect, but I am impressed. But as a way of running a society that, the Persian Empire spends something like 30 years in a situation of disarray from a governance point of view, and hence are overrun by their neighbours, their invaders. And that's the end of the Persian Empire. I'm not saying you can run a society, that this is a blueprint for the perfect society. It is, but it's in heaven, it's not on earth. I don't mean you can't have compassionate rulers. But it's a world of good and evil, and you still have this struggle because you need it. I don't mean you need it so much that I should make the struggle worse. That would be nonsense. The struggles we have, I want to just be from God, no one else. And I assume, of course, my God's all powerful enough to make sure that is the case. I like to think it's a watertight explanation and theory. I think to some extent it is, from what is disparagingly viewed as circularity and tautology. It may be that there's something spiritual going on. I'm driven by a great optimism and joy that overrides what the sad secular world might see as pure reason, or interprets it in bizarre ways from that point of view. But that's a consequence, I think, of trusting God, which comes of appreciating everything that's good in your life And seeing too how some of the great difficulties are such a blessing, in fact, will turn out incredibly well in the hands of your God. Because He loves you. And to know that and to start to feel that transforms even your reasoning. You may feel, it seems to wreck it, Marshall. Yeah. Well, perhaps we're used to coping with difficulties, whereas we need to be used to coping with blessings. It's a bit like, a doctor focuses on illnesses and tries to understand how to make you better. Whereas, the sort of new age approach to medicine, to healthcare, is that you focus on health and see what it seems to rely on. You'd think they both end up at the same point. I think they're both the same motivation. You're looking for health. You are looking for, a healthy, happy physical body. But I've got a feeling one philosophy is more successful than the other. And perhaps one has been bought out by our commercial system, where we privatize things and hope to goodness that self-interest will result in blessing to all, and try to persuade ourselves that it's not the case when we find it otherwise. If you work out what I said there, I think you know what I mean. But I'm not talking about health and medicine, am I? I'm talking about your happiness, your fulfillment, your life more abundant, in fact, life eternal. And the stories that last the longest may well have the right answer. That may be the reason they've lasted so long. There's something about them that they survive down the ages. Perhaps they're a great help. We should look more closely at the stories, whether it's Prometheus or ancient religions or current religions that are built on, most of them, ancient religions. They're just an upgrade, an adaptation to the world we're in now. The stories are teaching methods, hopefully to bless us. There might be an ulterior motive by some of our elites down the ages. I would think it's inevitable. Else we won't have a world of mix of good and evil. And then where would we be? With no school, no classrooms. Kids would stay as they are. Whereas we want them to have an abundance of life and joy. Life eternal. Thank you, Dad.